And a very happy Thursday to you at 12:09 in the West. Talk Radio 790 KABC, the John Phillips Show, broadcasting live from the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa Living Room Studios, where you have exactly half a week to head out to so you can play in the water and play golf before the rain starts coming down.
It's the rain!
Oh, yes. I remember that on Broadway. Mr. Randy Wangs at the sports desk in Culver City.
John, Karen Bass has been mayor of Los Angeles for 11 months now. And early on in her mayoral career, she was really, really excited when she got to go to a ribbon cutting for a homeless shelter.
What a wonderful way to start your day.
However, as the months have droned on and she's gone to ribbon cutting after ribbon cutting and the problem just seems to be getting worse, she doesn't sound as excited as she used to be.
Good morning, everyone. I just love starting my day like this.
Now, I don't know if Karen Bass was trying to pay tribute to the great actor Matthew Perry, because this is a Chandler.
Good morning, everyone. I just love starting my day like this.
You know, when she first took over, I thought to myself, okay, Garcetti's gone. We have a new mayor. I certainly wouldn't have voted for her in the election. I would have voted for Rick Caruso over her if I lived in the city of Los Angeles. But let's give the woman a chance. And every once in a while, she'll show glimpses of really understanding the problem and having the desire to do something about it. And then there are other instances where she looks like a low-energy Angela Davis.
Oh, you're so optimistic.
And that's what she looks like today.
Good morning, everyone. I just love starting my day like this.
That sounds like a hostage video.
That sounds like some truth really came out in those words. Because could you imagine every single week you have to meet with the same people that are failing on this issue, cut a ribbon, and claim that you're doing a good job?
And you have to wake up early in the morning to do it.
But, of course, that wasn't all that Karen Bass said at this press conference ribbon cutting with Hugo Soto Martinez, because this was on Wilcox in Hollywood where they've got a new homeless shelter. But don't you worry, it's a homeless shelter for old people, and they don't do heroin like the youngins.
Now, wait a minute. Didn't Hugo Soto Martinez just get back from Washington, D.C., where he posed for selfies with Rashida Tlaib, who's the one that posted the "from the river to the sea" remark?
Why, yes, that's Hugo Soto Martinez.
Yeah, clap that up.
You know, from the river to the sea, that went all over the place after she said that. And then the House of Representatives took up a resolution to censor her for saying that. And I was thinking to myself after I did some reading on everything going on in Washington, D.C. related to that, Randy. Here's a question that I have for you. Do you think Jerry Dunphy was secretly part of Hamas?
Why would you say that?
Because didn't he have something similar that came out of his mouth in front of every newscast? From the desert to the sea to all of California.
That is something very different than what the Tlaibs and the Hugo Sotos are saying. We don't want to associate legendary broadcaster Jerry Dunphy with any of that nonsense.
Okay, so we're going to clear it up right now. For the record, Jerry Dunphy doesn't have a problem with the Jews.
Now, I think I remember last week, speaking of Hugo Soto Martinez.
Yeah, clap that up.
Didn't one of his top staffers just have to resign because they were on Twitter making Holocaust jokes about Amy Schumer?
That's right. That was one of his aides.
We'll get to him in a minute. But first, Karen Bass wants to demystify some of the stereotypes that you might think are true about the homeless population.
We have to get rid of the stereotype of who are unhoused. And it is a popular view that the unhoused population all have mental illness, all have substance abuse, and all made bad choices in life, and that's why they're unhoused. And that is a lie.
What? That's a lie? So you're telling me they're sane?
I haven't checked in a while. Is Karen Bass blind?
You know, When I pass by a homeless person that's having a Lincoln Douglas-style debate with a lamppost, I usually say to myself, I think they're off their meds. But if Karen Bass is right, they're perfectly sane, and you wouldn't believe how witty that lamppost is.
We have to get rid of the stereotype of who are unhoused. And it is a popular view that the unhoused population all have mental illness, all have substance abuse, and all made bad choices in life, and that's why they're unhoused. And that is a lie.
You know what this is? This is a time warp. What she's sounding like is someone in the Great Depression. Okay, I get it. If the international markets collapse and unemployment is at 20-some-odd%, there are going to be people on the streets who are there because the plant shut down. It's not that they're on meth. It's not that they're on crack. It's not that they have some mental illness that they're not being medicated for. It's as a result of a bad economy. But right now, we have a record low unemployment. Travel around your town and look in the windows of all the shops. Virtually all of them have help wanted signs in the window. If you want a job, you can take a job. The problem is it's hard to get hired if you're on meth. People on meth, generally speaking, aren't the most reliable types of people in our society, and they like to start fires.
Can you imagine the interview process? Let's say you're going somewhere that pays great for a starting out job, like In-N-Out Burger. Anybody could do that job and make a decent living at it. And they say, what are the things that are really important to you? What's the reason you wake up in the morning?
I love heroin.
Oh, okay.
And then the next question would be, is heroin part of the health plan?
I love heroin.
I know that some pharmaceuticals are covered. How about that one?
I love heroin.
Do you have any training?
I love heroin.
Do you know how to flip a burger?
I love heroin.
Yeah, see, here's the problem. Karen Bass would like you to believe that people are out on the street because society is just that tough. If you're on meth, you have very few options in life. You just do. If you're on meth, at no point in your life will someone ask you the question, so how's the Senate treating you? You're on the streets because you're on meth.
It's not a namsy-pamsy thing.
Here's another thing I noticed about Karen Bass. Whenever she is doing a speech and she starts quoting something that she says people say, she has a really weird tick where she slows down her speech, and it's quite irritating.
I've heard this over the last 2 years. Getting anything done in L.A. takes forever. There's so much red tape.
She sounds like a substitute teacher for an elementary school.
Getting anything done in L.A. takes forever. There's so much red tape.
She's banging the podium, too. You know, if Holly Mitchell got elected to be mayor, she wouldn't bang the podium.
From.
But if you listen to what Karen Bass is saying and you ignore the fact that she's saying it very weirdly.
Getting anything done in L.A. takes forever. There's so much red tape.
I totally believe her because, as Sheng Tao tells us,
the bureaucracy is real.
Oh, that bureaucracy, man. That'll gum up the works.
So then the podium got passed to dignitary after dignitary after dignitary, including the head of the L.A. County Homeless Services Authority,
Doctor
Felicia Adams Kellum, who makes $430,000 a year to not solve homelessness. It finally was time to talk to Hugo Soto Martinez.
Yeah, clap that up.
Who is not so good with the crowd work.
Wow, look at this big crowd. I didn't see how big the crowd was from the front.
Yeah, I don't think the sitcoms are going to hire him to get the crowd all worked up.
He is not the warm-up guy. But Hugo had some other interesting ideas as to how we got to a massive homeless problem where you have, rough estimates, 47,000 in the city of L.A., 70,000 in the county of L.A.
And so when we look at the larger issues of homelessness, we're dealing with an economic system that does not work for working people. We're talking about systemic racism, and we're talking about patriarchy.
What?
So people are homeless not because of drugs, but because of systemic racism and patriarchy.
Does he just spout out random buzzwords that he gets in a DSA Reddit chat?
I think what he's doing is he's taking whatever fortune it is that you get in a fortune cookie from a DSA rally, and he's just repeating them.
And so when we look at the larger issues of homelessness, we're dealing with an economic system that does not work for working people. We're talking about systemic racism, and we're talking about patriarchy. No big deal, right? No big deal. But we'll solve it. We'll get to it.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't blame it on global warming.
He also said this.
We are folks that are saying we're not going to curse the darkness. We're going to light a candle to this issue.
What?
That is Rob Bonta if Rob Bonta was a yoga instructor.
Every type of leadership is about meeting the moment and rising to the occasion, and this is what's required. And so we're stepping up and getting it done.
You know, I think that's a great point. You want to know how you get Hugo Soto Martinez? You take one part Rob Bonta, you take one part Eric Garcetti.
I receive things on both ends.
And you get a Hugo.
He's like a life coach if the result is to be on meth and living on the street.
We are folks that are saying we're not going to curse the darkness. We're going to light a candle to this issue because our work is rooted in love. It's rooted in community and really trying to make a positive change in society.
My God. Well, when he's termed out, he can become a Unitarian minister.
So that's what was going on at the ribbon-cutting ceremony at Wilcox this morning.
It's hard to believe that giving these people millions and millions and millions of dollars to spend to combat homelessness has resulted in an exploding homeless population.
Oh, you're so optimistic.
It's almost as if they have no idea what they're doing.
No!
All right, we've gone this whole time and we haven't played the best Karen Bass drop.
If you're feeling down, if you're feeling blue, let's get help for you.
Thanks for the handoff, Mother Goose. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
That's right. We got an email from Chuck at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Chuck writes in and says, I went to the buffet last night and I ate some beef bureaucracy.
The bureaucracy is real.
And it goes great with a Merlot. And Randy, if you missed yesterday's episode, boy, did you miss out. But you can go back and listen to it on the podcast.
I'm not kidding. I actually turned on the podcast driving home yesterday to listen to that 12 o'clock hour because there is nothing that brightens my day like some Shang Tao.
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.
Might have overtaken Janice Hahn for my favorite drop of the year.
She just really slowed it down for that, didn't she?
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.
And Randy, coming up later on in the month, we're going on the road.
That's right. Come see us broadcast live Friday, November 17th at the brand new Gelson's West LA at West Edge on the corner of Olympic and Bundy. The Gelson's West LA at West Edge is open now. It's absolutely gorgeous in there. We're going to be broadcasting live from the craft beer, wine, and sushi bar. So come on down. We'll see you from noon to 3. It'll be a great time.
In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Well, let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes New Kids on the Block at the Kia Forum July 5th, 2024. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, caller number 9 at 1-888-790-5222 gets a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing.
Let's go to Seth in Long Beach. Seth, you're on KABC. Welcome.
Oh, my God, I won New Kids tickets. This is the greatest day of my life for a 48-year-old man. I'm kidding. It's not why I called. I just want you to know I was at the beach yesterday, you guys, and there was a homeless guy counting out his pills and putting them in one little vial and then another while I was because I think I should go to the beach because I live in a nice part of town. At least I think I do. So it is very distressing. But he seemed happy. Like, I got to give it to him. And you can't say heroin anymore. That's racist. You have to say vitamin H, okay? All right, I want you guys to go. And can we get Hugo to rock an open mic? I called before. I'm a comedian. I mean, that guy is strong, all right? He's just bringing it, okay?
Clap that up.
I got to step my game up now, all right? And I owe you an apology. I think I said a bad word last time I called, so I promise it will never happen again, okay, guys?
Happens to the best of us.
Join the
All right,
club.
very good. But, oh, man, new kids. I can't imagine anything I want to do less than that. You guys take care. Bye.
There's Seth hanging tough.
I love heroin.
Or vitamin H.
All right, it's time to class this place up.
How are we going to do that?
Let's open up the KABC Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
Questions?
And Randy, today's edition takes us back to the city of Oakland.
You're kidding me. We're doing yet another story about the city of Oakland?
And
It's
also
wild, wild west out here.
another gas station being robbed.
That's right. Let's see what's going on with this one. Here's a report from KPIX.
Now, when you talk about frustration over crime in Oakland, all you have to do is look at this video, what's happening to one family-owned gas station over and over again. Surveillance video showing robbers ramming
The service is so good, they're repeat customers.
Well, they're not coming back because the gas prices are low.
over and over again. Surveillance video showing robbers ramming into their garage, stealing what they can. And what makes this even worse, this just happened a week earlier. So the owners are pleading for some attention in a city that's seen overall crime jump 24% from this time last year. Now,
how did that happen? How does crime go up that much in the span of 1 year?
It's almost as if they have a district attorney that won't prosecute crime.
Quite frankly.
And also, your mayor's out to lunch.
Not a day goes by where I don't wish I could just wave a magic wand and silence the gunfire.
She really is a gem.
Every time she opens her mouth, it's an instant classic.
You may be frightened, and I know how you feel.
Now, while homicides are slightly down, robberies are up 36%, burglaries up 33%, home invasions are up a whopping 71%.
Yikes!
Repeat that number one more time just so that sinks in.
Home invasions are up a whopping 71%.
That's almost double.
71%. Think about that number in any other context. If the price of bacon went up 71% year over year, you wouldn't buy it. If the price of gasoline went up 71% year over year, you wouldn't drive. If the cost of an airline ticket went up 75% year over year, you wouldn't fly. But crime, okay, let's just let it happen.
Home invasions are up a whopping 71%. So the personal stories can often get lost in those stats. But Leslie Gooden returned to a Redwood Heights business that we've featured before, and their problems with crime just keep getting worse.
Yes, this is the Chevron station that we introduced you all to a week ago.
Wait, a week ago?
They got robbed a week prior to this most recent time.
After they told us that their mini store was broken into. Now they called us again to tell us that someone rammed into their garage door for the second time on Sunday. Now the owners are asking, what can they do?
That's the big swoosh.
You notice, by the way, the owners have just given up on the cops and they're going straight to the news.
Well, they didn't give up. They're still trying to get 911 to answer. They still haven't picked up. It's on the 1,000th ring.
I wonder what the assignment desk must be like at the television and radio stations in the Bay Area right now.
Those field reporters are very, very busy.
Like, are we supposed to just keep getting robbed and replacing our $1,000 windows? More than thousands. It's like now we're up to like 20 grand.
This is Marissa. Her family owns the Chevron inside the Lincoln Square Shopping Center in Oakland. And this is the second break-in to their store in a week's time.
Jesus.
And by the way, you know they have to be at their wits' end if they're going to the news every time they get robbed, because no shopkeeper wants to be known as the place where you get robbed all the time, because then your customers will stay away because they won't feel safe there. You only go to the news and publicize the fact that you're getting robbed if you feel like you have no other alternative.
It happened again on Sunday evening at like 10:30. They came in, they rammed their truck into our building, they stole a bunch of cigarettes in the cash register, and they already stole the computer last week, so they stole the case this week.
She says they have...
They stole the laptop, and they stole the laptop case this time.
And mind you, when you listen to the Pamela Prices or the George Gascons, they make it seem like people are robbing stores because they need bread to feed their family. They're stealing cars, they're driving cars into these stores, and then they're stealing cash, they're stealing electronics, they're stealing cigarettes, they're stealing things that they can then turn around and sell on the black market, or cash that they can just go ahead and spend.
But those criminals need those cigarettes. How else are they going to maintain that girlish figure?
She says they have tried it all. They install security cameras. They leave the register open at night, but nothing is working for their small business.
It's very clear there's no money in the store, and they don't care.
Wait, so they leave the register open so you can look through the window and you see the register open with no money in it?
There are several establishments all throughout the Bay Area, and it's starting to trend down here too, where you put a sign in your door that says no cash on premises. Go rob somebody else.
Do you realize what the tourists must think when they see that?
They must think they took a wrong turn somewhere, because this doesn't look like the Bay Area.
It looked like a third world country.
Maybe even a fourth world.
They install security cameras. They leave the register open at night, but nothing is working for their small business.
We're powerless and we're not supported by the city or the government, but I do feel supported by the community.
Customers who come to the gas station say break-ins like this are just now expected in Oakland.
It's elevating every day. It's not. It's getting higher and higher. Pretty inconvenient because everybody's leaving, but at the same time I understand it. I'll leave too, just to save my what I've built and what I've gained.
What are our taxes doing? Like, what are we paying for? What services?
You notice that not anyone that's ever interviewed in one of these crime stories is like, you know what? I feel bad for these criminals.
No, but then they turn around and they vote for Pamela Price and they vote for Gascon. These people weren't dropped from spaceships. They were elected by the voters.
It's like, definitely not the roads, definitely not crime is not being addressed. Is there accountability?
Says OPD did show up for this incident in a timely manner, but her family had not heard from other city officials until we asked Mayor Tao about this break-in at a press conference on Tuesday.
So I will be reaching out to the gas station owner. I have not received a phone call myself, but I do know them personally, and so I'll be reaching out to them.
Oh, that's going to make me feel a lot better.
Mayor Sheng Tao is on it.
She'll let them know just how difficult it is to navigate in this government.
The bureaucracy is real. Thank you.
I heard that the mayor did call my grandma after she was confronted with the break-in video, which is suspicious timing, but we shouldn't have to.
Are you saying that the mayor's not being completely authentic when she wants to console yet another business owner that got broken into twice in 1 week?
And she's so sincere, too.
You may be frightened, and I know how you feel.
That shouldn't be why we get a response. Also, what about all the other businesses that are being broken into? Like, do they have to go to the news?
Marissa says that their plea remains. What are they supposed to do? And they are left with the decision. Do they continue to keep their business in Oakland or leave too?
There you go.
Where are you going to buy gas in Oakland? All the convenience stores are going away.
Not going to be any cashiers to dummy.
If the cashier is dummy.
You know, at some point, someone on that city council and that mayor, they need to sit down and brainstorm this. Because if all the businesses get robbed and they all pick up and move to someplace else, where are you going to shop? Where are you going to get your car fixed? Where are you going to get your gasoline? Those things just don't fall out of the sky. They're businesses that have to be built by someone and operated by someone.
Oakland, I love you, but you don't love me.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Chris writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com about Karen Bass. So if the homeless problem is not due to drugs and mental illness, then why is the fake doctor handing out meth Happy Meals to the homeless?
The evidence is like crystal clear on that.
It's so crystal, it's crystal meth.
That's a great point. Wouldn't she be out there with pamphlets for job training and those sorts of things?
No, we don't do that.
Next slide.
No. She's handing out meth pipes and all the paraphernalia.
Barbara Ferrer, do you understand the concept of sobriety?
I have no idea.
Well, at least she was clear with her answer.
I have a hard time understanding.
Earlier today, West Virginia Senator and Democrat Joe Manchin announced that he would not be seeking another 6-year term in the United States Senate. That would leave an open seat in West Virginia, which was once a Democratic stronghold and is now reliably Republican, at least at the presidential level. The incumbent Republican governor, who was a Democrat who switched parties, Governor Justice, has announced that he's running for that seat, and he was leading in all of the polls against Joe Manchin before Joe Manchin said that he was going to leave the United States Senate. Now he's going to be a runaway favorite, so the Democrats will likely lose that seat, and that will be a Republican pickup in a U.S. Senate that is very closely divided. I think it's essentially 52-48 right now. So that's a seat that the Democrats were hoping to save by getting Joe Manchin to run for re-election. And Randy, this could also complicate the presidential race because Joe Manchin, while he's leaving the Senate, may not be done with politics, may run for president as part of the no labels ticket.
That's right. He made a cryptic message when he made this announcement that he's going to be traveling the country to talk to people in the middle, which means he's testing the waters.
And if you look at the potential third-party candidates, we already have a number of them who are currently running, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who was a Democrat who left the Democratic Party to run third party. And then you have Cornel West, the academic, who's running a left-wing style campaign. He's running against Israel and for the Palestinians. So anyone who is upset at Joe Biden for his position on that but doesn't want to vote for Donald Trump would then have a place to go. Jill Stein, who was run for president before on the Green Party ticket, she says she's in. And then if you put Joe Manchin on the ballot as part of the no labels ticket, we could have 4 or 5 third-party candidates that have some degree of notoriety. In an election where you have a Republican candidate and a Democratic candidate that are both deeply unpopular, we could end up with a 1992 or 1996 style situation where the third-party candidates generate a lot of votes. Maybe it'll be enough to tip the balance of power from one party to another. Maybe it won't, but this is shaping up to be a very unique election, to say the least. We have 2 more hours coming up on the John Phillips Show. The Fix California Hour is next. Don't you go anywhere. This is Talk Radio 790 KABC.
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.